Hey guys, this is Matt NES, and I like the Nintendo 64. I know that might not seem like an original thought or anything, but, over the years, some people have kind of fallen out of love with the system. What with its low frame rate, blocky character models, and muddy textures and whatnot, but I don't know. I still hold a really soft spot for the Nintendo 64, and I honestly still feel like that its games are still extremely fun to play. And as you guys all know, I collect games, so why don't we take a look at my Nintendo 64 collection today? Let's check it out. We got about 38 games in the collection, so why don't we get started with, of course, Super Mario 64. This is quite the genre-defining game right here. This game blew my mind the first time I saw it at Target in 1995. Just being able to walk around in 3D, and the whole collectathon genre in general being started pretty much with this game. Of course, it hasn't aged very well with, very sharp polygons and stuff like that, very bad-looking textures, but I still think this is a great game. Such a huge step forward in gaming in general. And we're going from one legendary game to the next one, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Like, say what you want about the N64 being outdated, but like having two heavy-hitting games back-to-back like this on the system is something else. Like, this defined the 3D action-adventure genre as we know it today. Like, having the Z-targeting system, like, is still being used in games today. Just, I can't sing this game's praises high enough. It's definitely not my favorite Zelda game still to this day. Like, I recognize that there's still some aging going on here, especially, not just talking about the graphics either, but, this is still, like, undeniably a phenomenal game, and once again shaped gaming history as we know it. Yoshi's Story. This is definitely not one of my more favorite games in this Yoshi series. I still like it a little bit. It's very easy, but, like other Yoshi games, if you're trying to go for 100% or a high score in this game's case, with the whole collecting melons or collecting lucky fruits or whatever, that's hard. But if you're just trying to do a normal playthrough, it's a pretty relatively simple and not very difficult game at all. I think I actually remember seeing reviews of this game back in the day, one publication saying that this game is so cartoony and cutesy that they had to take Duke Nukem breaks. But I still have a soft spot for this game. It's definitely not Yoshi's Island, but this is still, a pretty good game in the series. And we're going to another pretty big heavy hitter on the system, Star Fox 64. In my opinion, definitely improved almost everything about the original Star Fox in nearly every way, shape, and form. This is probably like one of the most quotable games in existence. Like, there's so many do a barrel roll memes and stuff. Like, just anything that comes out of Peppy's mouth is just gold. I see that a lot of people online are starting to say that this game is overrated, but I feel like most things that are popular people start to say that, but I still feel like that this is, bar none, the best Star Fox game that we've had so far. And I feel like we haven't really gotten to a point where they've managed to recapture the same lightning in a bottle as they did with this game. They tried to do it with Star Fox Zero, but as we all know, that didn't quite pan out, like, at all. But still a fantastic game to this day to play. Next up, we have Kirby and the Crystal Shards. This is one that I haven't actually played that much. I didn't play it when the N64 was new. This is more something I got into when I started collecting for the N64. I played it a bit here and there, and it's a Kirby game. It's 2D side-scrolling stuff. You suck up enemies, you get their powers. This game has a combine ability where you can combine different powers to make new powers and stuff. You can also play as King Dedede, which was the previous game's villain. It's a pretty good Kirby game. I don't think it's my favorite. I still think that Superstar and Triple Deluxe and even Planet Robobot are probably my more favorite Kirby games, but, this is still a good Kirby game, though. I'd recommend it. Hey, Nintendo! Where's F-Zero? No, but seriously, this is a pretty good F-Zero game in the series. Futuristic Racer, of course. It's one of the few games that actually runs at a solid 60 frames per second on the system, which was kind of mind-blowing to see back in the day. I'm sure they managed to, cut a lot of corners when it comes to certain things, like repeating textures and whatnot. But yeah, this is probably still my favorite game in the series. The SNES one is a little too simple, and the one on GameCube is a little, hardcore. I never really got into that game because it's quite difficult, but this is a good medium ground. I really like this game a lot. Oh boy, we're getting to another big, heavy-hitting game right here. The original OG Super Smash Brothers. This was a game that, when I first played it, I didn't really get the grasp of it. When I first saw it during that famous, infamous commercial where all those, people dressed as, Mario mascots just start beating the ever-loving crap out of each other, I thought that it was going to play like a normal 2D fighter, but it isn't. It's like a platformer and a fighting game at the same time. But I eventually got it, and I love the series to this day. It took me a while to really, really love the series, and I don't think it was even this one that got me to really, really enjoy it. I think Melee, I started to like it a little bit more, but I didn't get crazy into it. I think not until Smash 4 did I really, really super get into the series, but this is still a good game from back in the day. This game is quite ironic, because I can remember when this game was announced and first revealed, that people were upset at the fact that this game wasn't just a full-on, Pokemon RPG, because everyone was wanting that. But nowadays, people are just clamoring for a sequel to this game. They want to take pictures of Pokemon and print them out at Blockbuster kiosks and for $5 a piece or whatever. People yearn for those days to play that. But I definitely want a Pokemon Snap video sequel at some point. When it comes to this game right here, I still think it's a fun playthrough. You could probably beat it in an afternoon. It's simple, good fun. Just taking pictures of Pokemon. That's pretty much it. Oh boy, I have some history with this game. This is, of course, the Pokemon game that most fans wanted, but it kind of wasn't at the same time. So you pretty much just battle Pokemon with this game. But when I first heard about this game, I didn't actually know anything about Pokemon. Man, this whole story, I can make a whole video just based off of this story alone. But Cliff Notes version, this game was a lot like another PS1 game that I used to play. I was excited that Nintendo was getting their own version of this game, and I got excited, but it turned out that this game is not at all it's just very complicated. If you guys want me to tell you the whole story with that, leave a comment, but when it comes to this game right here, it's not really needed anymore. The whole battling Pokemon in 3D thing is kind of a dying novelty, I guess, especially now that we're getting Pokemon Sword and Shield, where we're actually getting the first full-on 3D Pokemon adventure game in HD on our TVs. So, I don't think we'll ever see another Stadium game again, but, it's good to hang on for nostalgia at least. Hey look, it's Tetris Attack, or Pokemon Puzzle League. This is pretty much just Tetris Attack, but with a Pokemon skin on top of it. People really like this game a lot, but I don't get it because this game is just Tetris Attack. It's available on a lot of things, on the Game Boy, on the SNES. I think there's also a Genesis version in Japan. Yeah, this is weird. I don't understand why people are so crazy about this game, and honestly I feel like it takes a little bit of wind away from another, more deserving puzzle game that we'll get to in just a moment, at least in my opinion. Welcome to Mario Kart! No, but this is quite the Mario Kart game. I want to say it's like my favorite game in the series, even though, like, I know it's old, I know it's like, you know, blurry textures and frame rate, and but like still, like, I don't know what it is about it. The music, the way it feels, the way it looks, like, I still really like this game a lot. I know that objectively Mario Kart 8 is probably the best in the series, but like, man, this still is very, very high up on my list. Quite a bit. Mario Party 2. I own this in the hopes that I will have people to play with at some point. I managed to play this a few times back in the day and remember having a blast with it. I never owned this game personally, I've just played it at other people's houses before. I just know things about this. It's considered a fan favorite. I don't own the original Mario Party because, you know, the whole damaging your hands thing by putting your palm on top of the analog stick and whipping it back and forth, like, caused, like, people's, like, the skin to peel off people's hands. Like, the whole thing with, like, Nintendo sending out, like, safety gloves and stuff, like, and that also sounds like it's rough on the analog sticks too, and those analog sticks don't hold up very well, so no thank you. I'm just going to stick with Mario Party 2 where there's none of that crap. But hopefully I'll get to play this game with other people at some point soon. Maybe I just need friends. Oh boy. I'm going to get into some hot shit with this one. Tetrasphere is a better puzzle game than Pokemon Puzzle League. It is the best puzzle game on the N64. Fight me, fanboys. No, but seriously, this is a great, great game. It's not technically Tetris. There is the Tetris pieces, the Tetraminos, but, you know, instead of, like, you know, dropping down lines and having them disappear, you have, like, a cube, and you, like, break away parts of the cube by lining up the pieces together, the stuff that's connected, and it also has this really, really nice and chill synthwave trance soundtrack, and just like, playing two-player with this game is also really fun. This is just a great puzzle game, and I want more Tetrasphere, and I want more recognition on the internet. This is a good game, goddammit. Why aren't there more people covering this game? It's so good. Such a good puzzle game. Cruis'n USA. I played a bunch of it in the arcade, and this is not quite the arcade game, really. Like, it's... They were advertising this, like, heavily, like, this is going to be like a one-to-one port on your home system, and it really wasn't. Like, they had, like, a lot of, like, really weird censorship things. Like, the whole, when you're in the Iowa stage, you don't crash into deers and have them explode anymore. You know, you don't have the, you know, bugs flying into the windshield like you did in the arcades, like... And just a couple other things, like, the game just did, like, it was an obvious downgrade from the original, but I still weirdly like this game. Like, it's one of the few racing games that I actually, like, own in my collection, like, but I still like this game enough. It's fine. It's fine. Cruis'n USA is an okay game. Donkey Kong 64, we're starting to get into the Rareware games. This is still a good game. I think people crap on this game a little bit too much online, but I still will admit that it's a little bloated, and it's a little tedious having to switch between the different characters in the game just to get certain collectibles. But I still think this is a pretty good collectathon game. Really good music by Grant Kirkhope, as always, from Rare. Yeah, this is a good game. I still think it's good. It's good, guys. It's good. Trust me. Diddy Kong Racing. A lot of people consider this game to be better than Mario Kart 64, and I can see why. You know, there's a full-on adventure mode where you do missions and stuff, and you do collectibles like you do in, like, other N64 games, like other Rareware games that we'll see in the future. but I don't know, man. There's something holding me back from saying that this is still better than Mario Kart 60. I think objectively it might be, but I don't know. Like, maybe it's just but I'm nostalgic for this game too. I played this game a bunch, so I don't know. I like this game a bunch, but I don't think it's better than Mario Kart 60. That's just me, though. Maybe if they added a battle mode, I don't know. Oh man, you guys. Oh man, this is it for me. This is like top 10 games of all time material right here. This is the collectathon genre perfected, in my opinion. This is an absolutely phenomenal game. The different moves you can learn, the different worlds you go to, the music, like, I can't. I'm just gonna gush about this game if I keep going. But Banjo-Kazooie, definitely one of my more favorite games of all time. Love this game. Please, Microsoft, allow someone to make a sequel to this game. Please. Well, I mean, besides this sequel right here, Banjo-Tooie. I do definitely like this game quite a bit. I don't think it's as good as the original, just because I feel like, while not quite as bloated as Donkey Kong 64, it is a little bloated. The worlds are a little bit too big. I feel like the warping system is a little bit better than this game. You can warp to any point that you want, no matter what the warp pad you stand on. But like swapping between the different forms of, you know, splitting Banjo and Kazooie apart, you know, getting Mumbo and like casting his spells and stuff, like I feel like that they tried to go for bigger, but like it just ultimately didn't pan out as well. But I think, like, again, if we got another sequel, they could probably fix some of that stuff. But still, this is still a great game. I still very much enjoy it. Ooh, here's an infamous one right here. Conker's Bad Fur Day. This was originally supposed to be another collectathon platformer, much like Banjo-Kazooie, but I guess Rare was getting sick of making those, and they just decided, F it, let's make this game R-rated, let's have the squirrel get drunk, swear, like, kill everything with, like, hyper-violence and stuff, and this game is f***ing amazing. Like, they have, like, movie references from, like Poltergeist to Saving Private Ryan to The Matrix to, like, The Godfather. Like, like, at one moment you're doing, like, normal 3D platforming stuff. The next moment you're in, like, a survival horror game shooting zombies. And, like, this game's... I think this game's actually also kind of, like, not the greatest because it's very unfocused, but, like, goddamn, does this game have a lot of charm. And, like, your first time playing through this game is an experience, to say the least. Like, I don't know if it holds up in multiple playthroughs. I've only really played through the game once. Maybe it's time to revisit this game at some point. Here's a game that I used to rent a bunch, but didn't really get through it completely. This is Jet Force Gemini by Rare. You're gonna see a lot of games from Rare on the N64, by the way. Like, we still got a few more to go, too. Third-person shooter. It's got a lot of really cool and epic music in it. Kids in space with their robot dog. I like this game enough. It's fine. I haven't played this particular copy since I got it in my collection, mainly because I wanted to do the co-op mode with someone at some point. We'll see if we can get that going at some point. Maybe my opinions will change on this game at some point. Killer Instinct Gold. A game that I didn't really play a bunch because I wasn't super duper duper into fighting games like I am now. But I've recently got into, and this is quite a great fighting game series. And it pains me to say that I want to play the new Killer Instinct on Xbox One, but I don't want an Xbox One, so I'm torn. But this game right here, you know, it's sort of a quasi-port of Killer Instinct 2 from the arcades. And this is a good Killer Instinct. I think the original is still my favorite, but this is still quite a good game. Y'all know about this one. Yeah. We still don't have this on any virtual console, and don't tell me that that Activision remake of this game was actually a remake of this game, because it wasn't. Like, I don't care who we have to call, I don't care what people we have to get in contact to, what contracts we have to sign, we need a remake of this game. Like, with the actual music, with the actual stages, with Pierce Brosnan, the Pierce Brosnan 007 that we know, we want a remake of this game. It shouldn't be that hard, guys. Come on. Come on now. This is one that I didn't really play a bunch back in the day. I think we rented it for a weekend and played a bunch of it because it's like, oh, it's pretty much like GoldenEye 2, but it wasn't. But it's still fun. It's still a good game, but I think we were all wanting an actual GoldenEye 2, even though, like, I guess we did technically get a world has the world. I don't even remember the original name of the 007. The World's Not Enough, I think it is. Like, we did get a game based off of that, but like, did we want that or did we want just GoldenEye 2? I don't know. This game's weird. This game's legacy is just weird to me. Like, it's supposed to be GoldenEye 2, but obviously they don't have the license for it, so they just put someone else in. The series is weird, man. That's just what I'm going to put it at. Y'all might think I'm crazy, but I like this game. Yeah, a lot of people don't like Castlevania 64, and notice that this isn't Castlevania 64. This is Castlevania Legacy of Darkness, which is more or less the director's cut of the original game. Like, the original game is on here. You have to unlock it, but it's on here. So, and it's got a lot of improvements, like better camera, better frame rates. The levels have been redesigned a little bit, and like, honestly, this is not a bad game. Like, it's not a great Castlevania game, but when it comes to like 3D adventure games, like, you can do a whole heck of a lot worse. I like this game okay. It gets a little too much hate. It's fine. Mystical Ninja starring Goemon. This is one I have heard about. I decided to pick it up at a flea market for cheap, but I still have yet to play this game. I hear it's a lot like Ocarina of Time, but like Japanesey and ninja-ish, but that's pretty much all I know about it. And it has the guy who sings the Dragon Ball theme song, you know, doing a theme song for this game too. That's all I really know about it, but I definitely do want to get to this game at some point. It looks cute, it looks fun, and it's one of the very few, like, we got like 5 Goemon games here in the United States, while there's like 40, I think, in Japan. So maybe I should get to this at some point. Maybe there is something to these games. Bomberman 64. I mainly keep this game around for its multiplayer, because it's not quite like your normal grid-based Super Bomberman game. It's free roaming in 3D. There's an adventure mode where apparently a lot of people had problems with, like, figuring out how to fucking play it. But who knows? Maybe I will get to that at some point. But for the most part, right now, I just keep this around for the multiplayer. Okay, this is another case of a game where I own it, but I never got a chance to play it. I haven't played a game in this series before. I had a friend who collected with me and swears by this series. You know, I've never really been into the whole life sim thing. Like, I've never played any of the Sims games or Animal Crossing. And maybe there's something to these games. Like, I've never really given them a fair shake. I have this in the collection on a rainy day if I ever want to, like, start a game up at some point. So, you know, I'll keep it in the collection. Ooh, this is an original game for me. This is one of the 2 games I got on Christmas morning. There was 3 packages wrapped up. 2 of them were for me, 1 was for my brother. I guess the big one was for me and my brother. We opened it up, it was the N64. One of the games was mine, one of the games was his. I got Super Mario 64, my brother got this game right here. And f*** you,
Irrelevant YouTuber.
this is a good game! This is a good game!
Irrelevant YouTuber.
I'll fight you! It's a good game. It's blocky and bad textures and not the greatest controls, but like come on, man, it's an N64 game. It's a launch window N64 game. Like, have some context, man. Like, Jesus. It's a good game. Stop hating, man. Mortal Kombat 4. I'm a pretty big Mortal Kombat fan. This isn't one of my favorite games in the series. It's still good. I still like playing it. I probably like playing it over the GameCube and PS2 games, honestly. But, you know, for its first shot at 3D, you know, I still think this is not a bad game. I played it a bunch in the arcades. I played this version quite a bit. A lot of people say that the Dreamcast version's the best, especially for their hilarious FMV scenes. But I don't know. I still like this one quite a bit. I don't really feel the reason to upgrade to that one for the moment, especially since like I don't feel the urge to own the definitive version of Mortal Kombat 4. But yeah, you know, whatever. Mischief Makers, the ninja team of game devs known as Treasure, strikes again with this game. Like, when everything was about, oh, 3D, gotta have everything full motion 3D, they made a 2D platformer, a sprite-based one, because they're like, you know, I'm not a part of your system, my dad's not a phone. But this is quite a weird game. Like, you pick up dudes, you shake them, you get stuff from them, you solve puzzles in each stage. Like, Treasure just makes the most unique and bizarre games, and, like, I love them. I from Gunstar Heroes to Wario World to Stretch Panic, like, Treasure is a treasure. Huh, let's see what I did there? Yeah. No? Okay. I love me some Gauntlet, and this is no different. Gauntlet Legends, 4-player, level up. It's a good time. Dungeon hack and slash. Real good. Love me some Gauntlet. Nothing else to say here. This game is f***ing terrible. It's a garbage game. And what's sad enough, it's one of the few role-playing games that's on the system. Oh, you bought an N64 and you want to play role-playing games? Well, f*** you get Quest 64. That's what you get. But, you know what? As much as I know that this game is hot f***ing garbage, I kind of like it. It's the weirdest thing. Like, it's such a weird train wreck sort of situation. I like playing it. I like this game. I know it's objectively bad, and I don't know why. Help, people. Someone help me. I must have problems. Please help me. I actually like Quest 64. This game, however, is not hot garbage. This game is actually kind of a trend of remakes of Atari Age games. Like, there's a lot of games that were made during this time like that, like Rampage World Tour, Frogger. There's even a version of Pong on the PS1. Like, they're just like, hey, let's just make these games with better graphics, CD music, and in 3D in some cases. And I actually really like those versions of the games. I actually collect quite a bit of them. I have way more of them on PS1, so maybe if you guys want, I could do a PS1 video at some point. If you guys like that, like, comment, subscribe, so let me know. Speaking of the devil, Rampage World Tour. You play as a monster. You destroy buildings. You eat people. You blow up tanks. This game's awesome. It's also co-op. It's fun. It's a good game. It's Rampage, but, you know, more new, I guess. That's good, right? I think so. Very weird game on the system. This is a 3D platformer. They have a PS1 version as well. You're a hand, and that's in the shape of a glove, and you have a ball, and you walk on top of it. This era of games was very weird. It's an okay game. It's not bad by any means, but it's kind of out there, man. Yeah. Continuing the trend of Atari-aged games made in 3D, we have Lode Runner 3D. You just run around, collect treasure, and try not to get killed by things. It's just an arcadey game, and those are fun. They're very easy pick-up-to-play games. I love collecting games for these, and again, if you guys want to see more of that stuff, I can do that PS1 collection. Like, comment, subscribe, let me know. Am I doing YouTube right? Getting down to the wire here. I gotta own at least one of these. WCW NWO Revenge. Like, I'm not a big wrestling guy, but like, even I have to admit that these are really, really fun games. I remember playing a bunch of these games, like WWF No Mercy, the original WCW NWO. You know, I picked this one because like it's just got the most content, and I didn't feel like having all the games in the series, but like I have to own one. They're fun to play. They're good games, good wrestling games. I don't know why they don't make wrestling games like this anymore. Last up on the list we have Extreme G. Definitely not as good as F-Zero X, but still a good like futuristic racer. You know, again, the racing genre in general is not one that I have a lot of games in, but you know, this is still a fine enough futuristic racer. You know, I've never tried out the Wipeout series. I probably would like those games. Yeah, Extreme G, pretty good game. That's okay. So there you have it, guys. My very modest N64 collection. I know there's a lot of noteworthy titles missing from my collection, like Majora's Mask and Paper Mario and whatnot. I still have a ton of other games that, you know, aren't, you know, on the popular side that I still want to add to the collection, but with my N64 collection being kind of a smaller one, you know, I wanted to kind of test the waters to see if you guys like seeing videos like this. If you want to see other game collection videos, let me know in the comments. And if you do like seeing my other content, make sure to hit the subscribe, like, and bell icons. It really does help out the channel. And until then, guys, I'll see you next time.